still in my brain, honey. I'm still trying to think about it. And in the meantime, the only thing I think that could be more special than a song about Christmas Eve is some sharing by a very special guest star. That's right, we have got a very special gal who's here tonight. It might be her first time at a church ever. And she is a songwriter, so I am a very special angel to me. She is actually the gal that wrote for us Boogie Wonderland and September, that were very favorite songs of Earth, Wind, and Fire for the elements that God created. And then we also have the Neutron Dance that the Pointer Sisters sang, and we all know that neutrons, again, part of what God created. And she also wrote The Color Purple, which is a musical that is all about God and the way God is in our lives. And last but not least, she wrote the theme song to Friends. And that is what God is with us always. So we could not have a more appropriate gal, a special guest star to come and share with us today. I would like to, all of you, put your hands together for Ms. Allee Willis. Allee Willis. Actually my fourth time in the church. Welcome number 4. Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. You're the special guest star.
If I did whatever I want, I would be home in bed sleeping.
Okay. The next best thing.
The next best thing. Okay, make sure I don't hit you with this.
People their brains might explode.
Okay, so here is what I know about God. I took a very circuitous route to get to him, her, it, the force, whatever it is. Though I always knew that something was out there. I grew up Jewish. I am a Jew through and through, but I am the worst practicing Jew on the planet. I would say my in the synagogue experience was limited to dropping out of Sunday school before I was bat mitzvah. There was just too much to memorize. And anything that took place before 1950 completely freaked me out. Yom Kippur, which is the most sacred day of the year for the Jews. This is, you are atoning your sins, and it's celebrated by a 25-hour fast. There could be no greater punishment for someone like me whose every sin has revolved around food. When I was 10 years old, which was the first time my parents let me sit in the synagogue by myself, like I didn't have to be next to them, I snuck out after 15 minutes, and I went down the block where there was this great little diner, and with my allowance money, I bought myself a cheeseburger. Now this, on Yom Kippur, is a horrible thing to do because you're supposed to be fasting. And I was mixing dairy with meat. So this was like so blasphemous. And I'm sitting there eating, and I realize I better go quicker because my father's going to realize I'm not there. And I take a huge bite of the cheeseburger, and I look out the window, and there is my father peering in. So he yanks me out of there. I forever have associated Yom Kippur with total loss of freedom. And I celebrate every Yom Kippur by eating cheeseburgers the whole day long. So this is how religious I am. I also grew up being completely envious of Christmas. Not because of the gifts, because for Hanukkah, there are 8 nights of Hanukkah, and you get a present every night. So that can't get better. But because of the decorating, the Christmas lights, the Christmas decorations, I just thought were the greatest way to celebrate really being alive, that it just looked like life. And I'm also an original thrift shop person, and there's no greater season in a thrift shop than Christmas because they bring everything out. And so over the years, I collected hundreds and hundreds of vintage Christmas ornaments. And every year I resisted the temptation to put up the tree. You know, if eating the cheeseburger upset my father, putting up the tree would like kill him. So finally, Christmas 1982, I gave in. I didn't get a tree, but I hauled out hundreds and hundreds of these ornaments that I had collected. And I hung them all over my house on Venetian blinds, on lamps. And I was so excited to get up Christmas morning and feel what it was like to experience Christmas. I wake up in the morning, I have 102 fever, I go, oh my God, you know, this is God speaking to me. So I just spent Christmas taking the ornaments down. That was the end of my experimenting with Christianity. Whatever I am, I feel like I've had enough synchronicity and incredible events in my life to know that there is some force greater than me guiding me. And there have been a few things that have happened in my career that have really allowed me to experience this. The first of which was getting to write with Earth, Wind & Fire, who among pop groups is certainly as spiritual as it gets. The day that we got together to write the very first one, which was September, which was my very first hit, Maurice White, the founder of the group, asked me if I knew anything about spirituality, because all of their music was guided by a sense of God and grace. And I didn't even know what he was, talking about. The only spiritual philosophies I had were the worship of a Dunkin' Donuts, Soul Train, and knowing where great, thrift shops were. So he gave me a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And I was an advertising major in college. And I thought, well, I've got this down. I know what there is to know about sales. But I opened the book up and I see that it's very much about religion. It took place just prior to the advent of Christianity. And I thought, I'm dead here. I don't know what to do. So I spent the next 4 months writing the next entire Earth, Wind & Fire album, on which Boogie Wonderland was. And really, but not understanding what what any of it was really about. And it wasn't until Amazon launched in 1994 when I read an online review of this book. And I saw that to be successful in the world's marketplace, you have to believe in yourself, you have to love what you're doing, and you have to have a sense of compassion for everyone around you. And I thought, this surely must be what God is. I got another big dose of God in 2001 when I was asked to write the musical of The Color Purple. This whole book is about God. Celie, the lead character, black, very abused by everyone, all the men in her life. And she's separated from the one person she loves and who loves her, her sister. And they're separated for 40 years. And she comes to not believe in God at all, because how can you experience this much pain if there is a God? But later in life, she falls in love with a woman and whose name is Shug. And Shug tells her that God is not the old white man that she reads about in the Bible, but it's the trees, it's the flowers, it's nature, it's everything around you, and you are one with everything in the world. So getting to work with this character every single minute of every day for almost 5 years, I came to see the same sense of God that she had. And then I started to very much believe in something that before I just instinctually felt. When The Color Purple opened on its regional run, a year before it went to Broadway, we opened in Atlanta. And it was honestly every minute of every day. You just, when you write a musical, you eat, sleep, drink, everything, the musical. So here we are finally, we're in the biggest theater in Atlanta. The opening is in less than 24 hours. We have our final rehearsal, and it ends, and I turn around and I say to one of my co-writers, only God can stop us now. And at that minute, the theater director runs into the theater, and they say there is a horrific hurricane outside. And we had a 12-hour rehearsal, so we were locked in. We didn't know anything was happening. The hurricane is inside, and the mayor has ordered that no one leave wherever they are. And the show may not open tomorrow. We may not have a big opening. And I thought, oh my God, literally here, I had just uttered those words, only God can stop us. So I figured if ever there was a time to pray, that was it. So we huddled together in the theater. We eventually, there were about 40 of us. We got garbage bags and we covered, we made like a big tarp, and we, walked the 2 blocks home to the hotel. And we stayed together in the lounge of the hotel the whole night, and you could see rain and hail and, branches hitting the windows. And we finally, literally, we just said to each other, it's in God's hands. And we go to sleep about 4 in the morning, get up the next morning. It is a bright, sunshiny day, one of the best days of the year. I believed in God. So I just want to say that to be in the presence of something greater than yourself is a very exalted place to be in life. I met Pastor James just a couple weeks ago when Danny was hosting his fabulous bingo night, which if you haven't gone, you have to go. And I thought that you were such a fantastic spirit that I took you up on your offer to be here. After all of these years of my father begging me to be in a synagogue, I can only imagine the rolling around he's doing, because here I am in church. So, oi gewalt, that's all I can say. And but I'm here celebrating the fantastic gifts that life has given me. Hallelujah, sei gesund, which in Yiddish means go in health. And in the words of one of the stupidest songs I ever wrote, but the one that showed me there was a force greater than myself, Badia, say do you remember? Badia, dancing in September, which of course rhymes with December. Badia, never was a cloudy day. Good God. That's it.
I'll have to talk to you about that. That's awesome. That was awesome.